Has to think about it.
Right, exactly.
There we are.
We'll give it a minute just for everybody to get in because it's
absolutely. We are a little bit early, aren't we?
Yeah. So, how's your weather there?
It is cloudy and foggy.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
In Maryland, and it's 81, 82, something like that here in Naples.
Yeah. You might want to turn off, I don't know if it's your phone, but turn off your little dinger. Everybody's loading in now. I can see them, all the registries. Exciting. We had to overcast here. You guys did you get snow or are you getting snow?
Yeah, they got 5 inches in Maryland this morning. So
yeah.
Glad I'm not there. So
yeah.
All right, we'll give it just see. They're starting to pop in now. I'll give it a second. So
sure. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
We're always, hearing him speak. He's spoken a couple of our radio and TV groups, and always, he's full of energy. Like I'm looking at his book, Big Money Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always has 900 grams of energy in him.
Yeah. We all need that every morning in this industry, especially.
Yeah, exactly. We'll give it just
I think we're ready to roll. It's 1:15.
Good. I see we're about half of them are in so far. So,
okay.
All right. Well, we just want to talk about, first of all, getting into luxury. The luxury market's always interesting, which some of us get intimidated. And I remember when I first got into business, like, oh my God, $1 million properties and so forth. Although, our market, anything above 500,000 is luxury. So, getting educated helps. So I remember one of the first things I did was taking the luxury certification, the CHLMS, which is now, I think it's called Institute for Luxury Marketing. Yep. So getting educated is always so important. I go back to Zig Ziglar saying, well, if you work, that's more Jim Rohn. If you work harder on yourself than you do on your job, you make a living. If you work harder on yourself than you do on your job, you make a fortune. So many people get in and just do their job and not work on themselves. So I think over the years, the more we work on ourselves, the better off we are.
Awesome. I love that. In our market, I'm Shelley Johnson, and I'm in the Charlotte, North Carolina market, for those of you who don't know me, and Lee Tessier with Tessier Group.
Yeah.
Is in the Baltimore, Maryland market. My business partner, Craig LePage, and I are in the Charlotte market, just for a quick intro. But
in the Marco Island in Naples. So
yeah, that's right. You expanded down into Marco Island. That's where you are right now.
Exactly. At a much higher price point down here. So
yeah, our luxury markets are here in the 750 range, and the Charlotte market is where our luxury market really takes off at. So we've been in my industry, like you said, when we first started thinking about, oh my gosh, how am I going to go talk to a luxury seller about what little Shelley Johnson can offer that person? That first conversation, a lot of it is just having the confidence to go in there and, like you said, gain the knowledge. So what did you do, Lee, to gain the knowledge?
So I took the designation, the Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist, and I went to a couple of their events too. So they do an annual conference. But it's also some of the ideas that they had were, networking. So if there's an open house, or make yourself familiar with the market. So go in and look. Like I was just checking today in Harford County, over $1 million. There's 3 homes on the market.
Wow.
Well, there's typically pre-COVID there was 15 to 18. Like we had one that we sold. It settled in May. It settled in June, I think, July. But we had been on the market for a year prior. They had an offer a few years prior. Before they wanted to sell, and they didn't take the offer. And, here it took them like 4 more years to sell. Of course, when COVID came, stuff just started flying off the market, but we had like 16, 17 houses over $1 million. Now there's 3. So supply and demand, of course, is just pushing things more so than anything. But I think the more you learn about, what's luxury look like? So know stats in the market of what's happening. Know your market. What's luxury? So for Harford County, it's above 500,000. Parts of Baltimore County, it's over closer to $1 million. Howard County, again, $1 million range. But know what your market is, and then also make sure you're somewhat familiar with those things, and then make sure you're familiar with when you're going into a house. What are you seeing for appliances? Are you seeing Viking and Thermador and just high-end appliances, marble and quartz, and versus you're not going to see Formica in those counties. Do you have heated floors? Do you have what's the butler's pantry? We were just
It's a scullery. It's a scullery. So really popular in new construction is a lot of the high-end luxury market. They want a scullery. It kind of was known before as a butler's pantry, but it's a place basically to prepare food and have all that preparation out of sight, because our kitchens are now our entertaining space. So we really want to, the luxury market, they don't want to have to prepare for an elegant party and then have to like clean up beforehand if they don't have help to do that. They can literally lay out a beautiful presentation. Everything's tucked away and they can get back and forth to that party. So luxury buyers really like that because they do a ton of entertaining. I noticed big outdoor spaces are really important right now. So a lot of times when you're even looking at price point for a house, the under roof square footage can be under square footage that's outside the house, but it has a higher value than just outdoor, like a deck per se. So you have to be able to recognize those things that cost a lot of money to include in a home when you're looking at that price point, like fireballs around the pit, around the pool, or the fire area, the area where everyone gathers for another party area. So
some of the stuff is so unique, it gets so expensive. Like we had one that we were selling. They originally started over $2 million, but it did, when you said it had propane tiki torches all around the pool. It was an 80-foot long pool. Most pools are 40, 50 foot long. This was 80 foot long. You had, bluestone stone all around the whole patio, and then these really heavy duty metal railings. I mean, the bluestone, he said he spent like $350,000 on stone.
Right.
Therefore, so you can, the more customized these homes are, they can spend a ton of money and they don't always get return on it. Depends on,
right. And they're looking for us to market that property the right way. So when you're talking about a high-end person, you have to help that buyer understand the value out the gate. So you have to have the right photography, the right drone photography, the right drone footage. It's not just going out and hiring someone for $100. So you have to get specialists who understand this property, because you're trying to get certain angles and capture some of the elegance of the home that you may not capture with a regular photographer. So I think, and also spelling it out, like getting very descriptive and having the breakdown of pricing and going the extra mile, these sellers really appreciate it.
That when you do events, they're bigger parties that you're doing. You're not doing a small event. We had one that was 3 sides of the home was on the water.
Yeah.
It was really interesting, and we marketed that as a high end. Had catering company come in, set up, and it was just a really nice event. But you're spending sometimes $2,000 to $5,000 on an event, so depending on the price range, on $1 million plus, you can afford to spend a couple thousand on a party versus like Ryan Serhant when he's selling $150 million home. And a lot more because the commission is so much bigger. So just everything becomes relevant. So I just think that's the more period. But how do you learn it is getting out and like taking action anyway. Like just start. He thinks he says that in his book. It's like just start. How do you do it? Connect with other people, see who has a high-end listings, go visit the listing. So preferably during an open house rather than scheduling one-on-one, like a single showing, unless it's a vacant property. If it's vacant, not as big a deal. You can go preview it, but get yourself very familiar with, the feel and the touches, how the rooms flow, something that's more dated. You see some of these houses that are, built in the early 2000s. And if they haven't been updated with colors, paint makes a big difference. Decluttering. Sometimes they have so much stuff in these houses. They have all the different tchotchke and you name it for art and so forth, which can be so expensive. But they're not getting the return on investment on it. So
100%. It's interesting when you have, when you're talking to different folks about their home and you're taking inventory of everything that they've done to it. You don't have to be an experienced agent to be a winner in luxury. We have an agent on our team who's fairly new, and she had clients coming in from California. Right now, our market's hot for California buyers, and they were looking for something between $2 and $2.5 million. She, it was actually a little bit outside of our area, not much, a little bit. So she had to go and educate herself. Like you said, she drove the neighborhoods. She went and met believe it or not, in our market, we have a high-end market neighborhood that has some on-site agents that work that neighborhood because they know it so well. And those sellers want those people. So they actually have a place where you can meet them. And she went out and down there, met them, did everything she needed to do. And she took that opportunity too to market herself because she's in a luxury neighborhood. So take that moment to say, hey, I'm over at Longview and I'm showcasing X about this neighborhood. So we take those moments, like you're already there, do the extra effort and show the rest of the world that you're luxury. You know, it doesn't take much effort to do that.
Yeah, it's always just taking action because a lot of time we get ready and then we don't do anything with it. It's like, all right, just get off your butt, make a plan. So, hey, I'm going to go. These are the 10 houses that are on the market. Make yourself familiar with them. See if there's an open house that you can go visit. And then as you learn the market more, and who knows, I mean, if you're ask that agent, do you mind if I do some additional marketing for it? In most cases, they're not going to mind because if you're going to spend dollars to help promote it, that's fine too. Also, you're usually having some, really nice luxury brochures, stuff of that sort. I mean, photography is everything when it comes. So you may have, like we had evening photography. So you had, rather than just doing a dusk to dawn that you get box brownie do or something like that. We're having a photographer going out. They're coming in the morning. They're coming in the afternoon or evening. At sunset, depending on the property. If you have a great sunset, you want to make sure, or if it's early sunrise, you're doing some photography for that as well. So you're going to spend a little bit more money on photography because that's so impactful and important. Also, video. I had a couple of different friends from across the country that were doing these elaborate, maybe a $5,000 video, but they are getting, people to come in, high-end cars. You'd have artwork in the house. You'd have, they'd be wearing really nice jewelry and watches and stuff of that sort. But they are making a presentation of the lifestyle, and that's so important. So now, because the market's so brisk and selling much faster, they're not having to do quite as much. But when things slow back down and get to a normal pace, if you're doing the luxury and selling and really trying to do it at a high level, you have to spend money. You have to invest it to get return on it, or find the buyers for it. So the buyers take a little bit more time and a little bit more money to just more time than anything else. Where on the listing side, it's always more dollars and cents of what we're spending marketing wise. Magazines, I think of anywhere from, like, we have a local paper, the Sun paper, which some of the older, more affluent people will read still. They still like the tangible paper. Versus the high-end magazines. Do you do it for their ego? These sellers usually have a bigger ego. So, sometimes invest a little bit more money when it comes to that. If not, again, open houses, you don't spend any money doing that. Network with these agents, have the phone calls. I mean, if somebody called you on one of your higher end listings and asked questions about it, I'm sure you'd be happy to talk to them the same as I would. And I think that the more that you do that, the better off we are. So
and also seeing yourself as a leader in the community, as somebody who people of that caliber can trust. So if you're networking within your community and getting out there and knowing people and building those relationships and deepening those relationships, it takes time, but it's a long play, to be able to have that opportunity to work with people of that caliber.
Yeah. Look at, like, anywhere from, like, the Rob Report, get yourself familiar with some of these higher end magazines. And look at stuff that's in, like, what's really in right now. So it could be anywhere from colors to appliances to light fixtures, stuff of that sort. Just familiarize yourself with that. I think just having a little bit more of a foothold, try to run in some of those circles. If you're near a country club and you can afford to join it because, like, I end up picking a $850,000 listing up from hitting golf balls with my grandson. We were there. Somebody knew who I was, and they're like, "Hey, my house isn't selling. Would you list it?" I was like, perfect. And then you don't have to do anything. You just have to be at the right place at the right time. But you have to be in those right circles too. So I know we're like a minute or two before Ryan.
We are. So let's talk a little bit about the man of the hour who's getting ready to join us, who everybody's here for. You've actually introduced I really hadn't spent a lot of energy learning about Ryan until more recently, until you said, Shelley, I want you to read this book. And I started listening to $1 Million Listing, or it was like Serhant. I started listening to that. And so share a little bit about your, how it's influenced you and your business and what you know about Ryan.
So my son had brought it up a couple years ago, right after his book came out, and I guess he was listening to it on Audible, and he said, "Hey, I think we ought to read this as a team because we read a lot of books together. We'll read a few chapters and then share it in our weekly meeting, and then do the same thing." So I listened to it. I was like, "Yep, we definitely should listen to this or read it as a team." So we did. Took a lot of good things out of it. Like, I think of as, he talks about FKD, which is finder, keeper, and doer. We need to find a business, need to keep it, and we need to keep doing, do to get it done. So you need to do these things through the business. And he talks about, all the more balls we get juggling, the better off you are. Like if you focus, because you get some agents that focus just on one deal, and then all of a sudden they're consuming that deal. They don't have anything else in the pipeline. So you need to have more balls in the air, which most of us do. Is like, all right, keep juggling. The more you get, the better you get at juggling a lot of balls, the better your life's going to be, because you end up just becoming a better person. You can handle more stress. Like we were talking earlier, like, oh, I'm a little anxious when getting on this. Like, all right, a presentation is never fun, especially when you can't see everybody else. So
yeah, that's true. It's just you and me.
Exactly. So, but I think the more things that we get juggling in the air and then we put on our plate, the better off we are, because we end up having a better life because we're helping other people achieve more. That's the Zig Ziglar one. You help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. So that's always been my mantra of like how I run my life.
That's awesome.
Going back to his book, I think there's just so many good points through it. And I'm listening to it, the new one, the Big Money Energy. He was talking about, a $40 million sale. I was at the point where he's talking about, hey, this $40 million sale is $50 million. He rents a helicopter. He's FaceTiming with the buyer. So I'm like, just thinking about like how this would work through the Hamptons, and he finds a property he really likes. Well, they wanted 50. They're negotiating. They get agreed upon to include all the contents at 40 million, but now they're hung up on a blanket. They're like,
I've had that. I've totally had that.
Right.
The light.
Yeah, I mean, I've had crazy stuff where people ask for somebody's dog to be included in a contract.
Oh my gosh, like that would be heartbreaking. Can't do that.
Right. I mean, the sentimental end of things, not learn anything else. So.
But back to like the ball, juggling all the balls. Isn't that the truth though? Like, I mean, we've been around a lot of agents. I've sold a lot of homes in our 15, 17 years of business. And you think about like the people who are successful are able to handle more balls. And a lot of that starts to come down to leveraging later too, like knowing when to start to leverage and spend a little money to help leverage yourself. But the more balls you have in the air, it's not harder. It's actually easier, like you said, because probably you're spending way too much time carrying that one ball across the threshold, and you probably put way too much energy into that one ball, and actually probably brought yourself down to some degree, because people, they think you need that one ball, but if you have a bunch of things going on, people it's more attractive to have a lot going on in your life, to have, things that people are like, wow, if I could just, do that. And it's really not that hard, is it, Lee?
You just learn to manage yourself through time. You can't manage time. So people say, right. Oh, manage my time. Like, you can't, the seconds are ticking. We can't get that time back. We can't get the hours, the days and stuff. Just take action. That's half of it. Like, don't be ready to be ready. Just do it. When you go to do it.
So true.
So when you do, and then all of a sudden you start juggling more balls, and it's never perfect. Like, we all want to get into a perfect phase of business. And I think of, small teams to 100-person teams. They're never perfect. I mean, you go into the office, there's always shit that happens. Like, there's always a problem. But the ones that, usually the leader's like, all right, we're going to figure it out. Not a big deal.
It rolls off your back, right? It's just, deal with it. I mean, you can fix. The good thing is there's nothing catastrophic that's going to happen in real estate that money can't fix. If there was something small that happened, not that you want to throw money away, but you just fix it so it's better for the client. If you constantly look out for that client, and fix the problem quickly, if it needs to be fixed, fix it and move on, because that time you can't get it back.
Exactly. Experience. I mean, we're always fighting fires. We're always solving a problem. And the better we get at all of that, the more that you can juggle. More balls in the air. He talks about more balls in the air. It's like, all right, let's get as many as we can, because you don't know when's going to fall out. He talks about, so it's like Serhant, where he's getting ready to get married. And all of a sudden he gets a phone call of it. It's like a $17 million deal or something that's falling apart. And he's like, here, I'm in Greece, that I'm sweating like, a pig in a suit, and, and I'm dealing with a deal blowing up. So that I think it was like the condo association wouldn't approve because it was like the parents were buying the house for them. And it's just kind of interesting. A lot of time, the more money there is with the people that they have, the more the ego and so forth too. So just kind of through that.
That's true. And sometimes just learning to ask really good questions through a transaction, sometimes if you can slow down enough and not make assumptions and just ask good questions, then you can help move that conversation or that issue along faster. Because sometimes what we think the issue isn't actually the issue. There's something more going on deeper inside that person's life. A lot of times in a transaction where we can go, this is really small. Tell me what's really bothering you. What is really going on behind the scenes that I need to help you with, because I will help you. And that just kind of puts, they can go, oh, Ryan's joining us.
Yeah.
Ready, set, go.
All right.
Hi,
Ryan.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Sorry, it took a few seconds to get into this broadcast system, whatever it is.
Yeah, we were trying something different rather than just Zoom. So
yeah, my computer was having a moment with it, but I am here. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we were talking about your books. So we were talking about Sell It Like Serhant first, because we read that as a team together, and then we were also.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was a great book that my son had suggested as a read together as a team, and everybody took a lot out of it. So anyway, we were just talking about balls in the air.
That, as you should be.
Yeah, exactly. The more you get, the better off you are.
As you should be. Yep. The more balls in the air as you possibly can. The reason, to be honest, Sell It Like Serhant, I don't know if you know this, but the original title, the way I sold the book to the publishers, it was titled Balls Up. And that was it. Can you go on mute? I got to talk to somebody for 1 second. I'm in the middle of a closing. Is that okay for 1 second?
Go ahead.
Sorry, you can, just hold on.
That's a riot.
This isn't real life or anything, right? We're dealing with problems. Real estate. So,
it's probably like it's probably like some massive $100 million deal.
Right, bigger problem, bigger price range. So anyway, but going back to, I think the find a deeper doer is another big one of, you need to always find the business, but you also need to keep doing the things you're doing. And then what other things are you, like, who else is helping you, as we grow teams? I think you think of his brokerage now, I think he has 100 agents or so.
Mm-hmm.
We are a 20-person team, 25 people. The more that you do, the more people you naturally need to help keep, because you're driving the business, and then you're handing it off because you don't have enough time. One commodity we never get more of. Can't go back. But this is life in general. As I'm thinking of him where he's getting married and the deal's blowing up and like at the altar. So kind of same thing here. He's on a call, just dealing with real life crap of real estate. So
yeah, it doesn't change because of who you are. You still have the same problems, the same issues. It's just how you handle it. And like, he's not afraid. He's how many people? 78 people on this call, and he's not worried about that. He's going to get it done, and then he's going to come back on. He's going to pour value into all of us. I mean, it's all how you deal with things.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. So you can tell he's really thinking hard. He's like scratching his head now, so he's thinking hard.
So out of the new book, you started listening or reading the new book, right? The Big Money Energy. So was there
I'm sorry. Yeah, the new book. Yeah, let me get my notes here. So I had the new book is really great. He actually goes through. He calls it like his codes, and that's really really cool. Like are you top level? Wait a second. Hold on a second. I have all kinds of notes in here. I got myself distracted. It says, ignore all the noise that's not beneficial to you. It's not raining, so don't get wet. So like, there's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of noise that is none of our business. And if we say it's not raining, we don't get wet. I mean, that's kind of a cool code to live by. If you ignore the noise, it's not actually benefiting your world. There's a lot of people that will jump in your world and make their problem yours. It's like the old saying of get the monkey off your back. Don't make it your problem. Those are great. Or that's a great, great tool. Basically, if we can stay focused on what's important. And then I have
went through for 2020. So 2020, when April and May, April specifically, because that's when most of us were closed down. I mean, think of him in New York City is like, what's real estate really going to look like this year? And then by June, we were all so busy that our hair's on fire. Where are we gonna? What's the end of the year going to be like? And now January hits, and we have 30% of our normal inventory. So now it's pick up the phone more. We're what other things do we need to do? And more circle prospecting, more staying in touch with our past client, our top 50 clients, just getting on the phone and seeing how they're doing. Talk to people and see how they're doing. I mean,
I love that.
Almost a year, on lockdown. So when we get through those things of the mental and mental capacity of what people have dealt with, much less kids, and people are dying from COVID, but think of the suicides and the depression and the drinking, the alcohol, the drugs, all that stuff. You don't know what people are going through. So you're just reaching out and saying hello to
be the positive energy in the room and blow, be the energy. I mean, when COVID hit, I was like more on fire. I told Craig, I said, I am more on fire right now than I have been all year. I'm like, it woke me up to like, first of all, we are so blessed where we were with the company we're with. We had a passive income stream for all of our agents and ourselves. And I wasn't worried. So I was able to focus really and dig deep with people. And that was huge for our team. I mean, I know that we crushed our year because of what we did during the lockdown. So that video we looked at earlier, lay together, that Ryan did, where he was running through the streets of New York, and it was completely empty. It was just him in a suit. And he's like, I got up and I went to work in my suit. And he's like, there was nobody there. He's pretending like he's talking to his team and showing everybody the office, but it was his vlog. It's vlog 111. You guys have got to watch it. It's inspiring. And it shows you, like, even if you're a winner, you don't stop. Winners don't stop when the going gets tough. Winners run harder when the going gets tough. So I love that you brought that up, Lee.
Did you have more team? Like, I know I did a team meeting every day, and I told you I'd be there on Saturday and Sunday. I'm like, I'm here. I'll be on the call every day, 9 o'clock, Saturday and Sunday. If you want to join on, great. I'm glad to talk to you. If you don't, no problem. I just want to be here for you because everybody handles things differently. And like I said, here where we're halfway through March almost, we're almost a year into this. Right. So the mental side of things is really stressing for people. So call it, check on people, see how they're doing. And people are going to remember you that later for when you want, like, hey, they want to sell their house, they want to buy a house. They remember that you picked up the phone and you checked on them. Just be a good human being. If you're a good human being, people are going to want to deal with you and be surrounded with you. Be the professional there too, to have the knowledge. Make sure you're familiar with these higher end homes. Make sure you're familiar with whatever you're selling. But if you want to level up, make sure you have a good understanding of what these homes look like, what they feel like. Go, there's so much on Matterport. I mean, Matterport, you can look at majority of these houses now online. You don't have to leave your home. Look at all the appliances. Like, there's so much information on the web.
We had people literally, like, they'd say, I'm looking at this house online. I'd say, great, let's go drive by it, see if it's your house. If it's your house, let me know. I will work on getting us an appointment that's safe and clean, and we can get in there and get out. I mean, we were writing contracts and everyone was pulled back. And I understand people were scared, but I couldn't let my team down. Like, people had, like, first of all, clients that needed to move. People were needed to close on their homes because they were trying to go into a nursing home. My father was one of them. I mean, they needed to get rid of property, so we had to do the best we could do with what we had. And that's just it. So if anything happens like that again, dig in. That's the biggest lesson I can say is don't be afraid. Find another path. Dig in with your local leaders too, because they're trying to figure all this out. So I was calling our politicians. I was calling just to see how I could support them. I was calling our local small businesses. And, I think that this is kind of making me laugh because I think Brian's making us pull improv right here. That's like his. I think he's making us do this. So,
fun at the moment, unfortunately.
One of his things he says is code number 12 is always focus on a client's goal to get your win. So sometimes, we've gotten those transactions with a client where they are, they think they love the house. We get in the contract and it's just something's not right. And we could push the closing, we could push it and make it happen. But, sometimes we got to help them get out of a situation, get into a situation. Sometimes we have to tell them the hard news. Sometimes we have to give them the hard facts. And the faster we deal with stuff like that and help them, because you can say, hey, you told me your goals were X, and you can help people reframe where they were, then they can be more successful. So you basically have to reframe sometimes where people are and help them remind where their goals are. And then how good does it feel? Like, my favorite thing on earth is when we close on a house and we go to closing table. And I don't care about I care about getting paid eventually, but I'm like, I'm really excited because like that little girl is going to get her pink bedroom and she's got a playhouse in the back and she's like super excited because she's going to go find frogs. And I mean, like, that's fun. And if we can focus on that. And I like my closing gifts were always wrapped around like the kids, because the kids were the fun part when you could see their energy and excitement and everything. I mean, I don't know. That's the goal. The goal is to get them to win.
Right. Well, it's always rewarding seeing them. So.
Hello?
So that was a nice, easy one, huh?
Did you hear that? Did you hear it?
No, we were muted the whole time. I was just, we were talking about improv. So I was like, all right, this goes into your book about it.
Sorry. We have in 6 minutes, in 16 minutes, the largest sale in my life and the second most expensive home ever sold in the United States is about to close. And that was the buyer. There's NDAs out the ass, and the press is reaching out to everyone now saying, we know who it is. If you don't confirm, we're writing it anyway. Oh, wow. And he is like, all right, let's do it. What are we talking about? Big money interview. Let's go.
You're talking about your books, but also we were just talking about, how to get into luxury. Like, how did you break into it? That would probably be one of the biggest things. Read the book, or actually any advice that you would have now that you're this far into it that you would have done differently to get into it in today's market, especially since the higher end market's moving really well now.
Yeah. So here's what you need to remember: misery loves company. Okay? If you work with $2,000 a month clients or $200,000 clients, okay, you're going to get $200,000 referrals who have $200,000 friends because they all have $200,000 problems. Right? Yeah, that's why they talk to each other. Right? They're not going to go complain about their lack of money to rich people. The same way rich people are not going to complain to those people about their rich people problems.
Right.
When I figured that out, that changed everything for me into getting into the luxury market, because what you realize is that wealthy people spend time with other wealthy people to talk about wealthy people problems. Mm-hmm. And we, as their real estate agents, are problem solvers, not just for real estate, right? These people are used to having everything catered to, and that's what we're there for. You need a plane? I know a guy. I don't broker planes, but I know a guy. You need a boat? I know a guy, right? You want a reservation? I know a concierge. No problem. Talk to me about all your rich people problems. I can't afford what, and that guy makes $1 billion a year cash. Okay. We have different problems, but he has a real problem today, right? Mm-hmm. He is publicly traded. What who it is, like, it is a real problem. And my solution to it is we are doing absolutely everything we can to keep your name out of the press. But please remember, I didn't buy a house for $140 million. I don't know. You wanted it. I told you. When you do that, people are going to know. So we're going to do everything we can. We're going to ride through this together. I'm here with you. That's what, I don't know if you could lip read, but I was like, I'm with you. I'm here with you right now. It's you. I'm in it together. Like you, I represented you. I'm representing you to the end. I will go down with these reporters, right? I will stand in front of bullet fire for you. And that's what they want. The way to get into that market is, it's hard with COVID, but it's associated marketing. So you want to associate yourself with wealthy people and be where they are. Where are they? Right? They're not at McDonald's. They're at like the golf club, go where they go. Right? There's a great book called Never Eat Alone. Okay. By Keith Frazier, who's become a friend now. And that's all that book is about. It's like, I know you can't afford first-class flights, but fly first-class flights. Right. Make sure you talk to the people that are next to you because they can afford it, even if you can't. Mm-hmm. And go after expired listings that are in the luxury market that no one else wants. Don't go pitch the stuff everyone's pitching. Don't pitch the things that the best broker in your market are pitching because you're not going to get it. If you can get the pitch, go for it. Try your best. Obviously, never stop swinging. But go after old man hullabaloo who thinks his house is worth $6 million when it's really worth $3 million or whatever, and tell him, you know what? You're right. Let's try it. And get that listing on the bounce. Make it pretty. Use it as your flag. because buyers don't know. Who cares what brokers think, right? Get that listing and then go get a real one. You're going to meet somebody because of that listing who can actually afford something in that price range. And you will then become that level of broker. And it's slowly but surely the deals will become real.
Good.
So I know you've had a bunch of interviews, especially with the new book coming out. And one of my questions is, what question doesn't get asked? What question don't they ask you that they should?
On these calls?
Yeah, just in general. I just think in general, like, what do you
like? How are you alive right now? You know, no one asked me that one. I don't know. Honestly, people ask me every question. I'm surprised by the questions people ask. Because oftentimes I'm like searching for answers. I'm like, how exactly do I answer that question? I don't get a whole lot of like deal specific questions. It's mostly like, you know, how do I get in the luxury market? How do I stay successful? I'm a brand new agent. How do I get leads? Stuff like that.
How about since COVID was such an interesting year, especially in New York City? So
Yeah.
how did you know, what's business look like now for you guys? Has it changed dramatically? Is it still busy? What are you seeing? And are you having to do much differently than you did pre-COVID?
Yep. I left the brokerage I've been at for 12 years, where I started my career over the summer, and started my own company in New York City in the middle of a pandemic when everyone moved out. So that was crazy. And we've been up now for 4 months and 11 days. And it's been awesome. Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work. There's more things to think about all the time, but I like that. Like, I want to do more. That's the whole reason I did this. Was not like I didn't want to lead a team to the top of the rankings again. Like, I did that already. And so, so I started the firm, and it's been fun for me to kind of go back to basics with just relentless pitching. Right? Because now, even though I'm not new to the industry, my firm is new, and I want to make sure everyone knows about it. And so the amount of business that I've been able to get just by sending cold emails, like, blows my mind. I should have been sending cold emails every day for 10 years. It just worked. Why do we not reach out to rich people by email? All of their information is public. Why aren't we DMing rich kids of rich parents? Like, imagine if we all did that every day. You do so much more business because people just don't think about who to use. Dude, like, my dentist, I think, like, sent me a postcard, and I was like, oh, I didn't know there's a dentist there. I should probably see a dentist. I went to the dentist because he reached out to me, not because I was like, who is the best dentist? So it's the more people who know what you do, the better, especially when you're in sales. And we didn't really have to pivot as far as how to show and how to sell. I built a media company 3 years ago that just transitioned into what is now an in-house film studio. And we create all the content for the agents, the branded content for our properties, our developers, everything. And so we were good to go. Like, I had that. Everyone else was scrambling. How do I do a virtual tour? Oh my goodness. And we were like, we got it all. We're good.
So going back to basics, and you're talking about email, is that just like a typed out email? Is it a video email? What does that look like?
Super simple. It's pulling something that is personal to them, that you can find either on LinkedIn or in the news or Google or their social accounts, making it nice and positive, and then just saying, my name is Ryan Serhant. I'm a real estate broker here in New York. I have sold this and this. If you're at all thinking about buying or selling, in the next 12 months or so, we've got great off-market properties. Let me know, right? Because you want to present a value.
Right.
What is your value? You can't just be like, hey, I'm in real estate. Please call me. No one's going to call you.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. But what ends up happening is maybe one person will respond, right, to that. But then people save the email. They flag it for follow-up, and they don't reply. And then they'll reply like 7 months later. So like, who's that real estate guy? You think someone emailed me because he's got stuff, because his wife has now been looking for things and can't find anything. So he goes, because I said off market, and now he reaches out. It's like, hey, hello, might be looking, and boom, new client, right? So you never know when people are going to get back to you. You just want to make sure that you're doing output every day.
Anything new that you're doing to get listings? Because I think everybody's got inventory shortages right now across the whole U.S. So
yeah, except for New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, big
And
city.
a lot.
Yeah, New York, we have 10,000 apartments on the market right now. Average days on market, I think, is like 400. Yeah, a lot of people left. So we have no problems getting listings here. But elsewhere, right, there's no secret way other than it's something we do much differently now than ever before, because we can't really do events. We're not door knocking. We're not doing all that stuff. Is we run social ads with seller guides. So it's how to sell. Thinking about selling? Stop. Here's what you need to know first. Make it attention grabbing. Run those ads on Facebook and Instagram. People click them. They have to fill out a lead generation. This is a course actually that we teach it. If you go to ryanserhant.com/course, it's our online sales course that also has a social ads course there. And it works. You triple your leads. I'm telling you, if you just do that and say, stop thinking about selling, here's what you need to know, or the 5 things you need to know. There's an LGF, a lead generation form. They type in their email and their information, and they fill it out. And then you get in touch, and you got to ping them a few times, right? Because they don't expect all of a sudden some broker to be emailing them. This was just something they saw on the internet. But it works. It works better than anything else we're doing right now.
It's good. So you're going to be sending us all your referrals from New York to Charlotte. Because that's where they're coming. They're coming to Charlotte.
No, actually, could we do that? Could you please send me my New Yorkers back for the love of God? Please tell them it's not that nice in Charlotte. The sun is not that great. The land, the water, like just send them back. It's cold here. It's snowing, sleet. I think it's nice. Yeah. There's trash on the street again. Like, that's good. Come back.
You've had the mass exodus. I just got licensed in Florida. So in Marco Island and Naples, I'm like, all right, there's so many people are coming down here. I'm glad I got licensed, early COVID for that area. Like, all right, they're coming down. There's 900 a day moving to Florida. So
yeah,
if you have anybody down this way, we'll take them and be glad to take care of them on this side and send you a referral. Let's see, what other, going back to your book. So your book, Big Money Energy. So, I'm partway through, I'm up to the $40 million sale, and they're fighting over a blanket.
Yeah. Good old blanket.
Yeah. So give me a little bit more. So like you start talking about like starts with a small thing, and then if you give in, where does that go to?
Yeah. And so that's a whole part of it. Right. And those are, and I go into all of it in the book, and how to see those problems coming, and then how to handle them. And it's really a section of the book that goes into communication. Right? How you communicate in a smart way, and how you don't communicate, right? That was a $40 million deal that we did over FaceTime that was about to die because the seller sold it to us furnished and then slid in a rider saying that, oh yeah, it's furnished except for these things. There was a pizza oven, there was like some other stuff, and one of it was like this blanket, right? And so I did not send that to the client, no way. Because the client is buying this for $40 million, fully furnished. And if he sees that, you got to put yourself in the shoes of the client and think about the future. What's going to happen? Always anticipate the next move. If I send this to my client, the client's going to say, there's a good chance the client's going to say, if this is the way they're behaving now, imagine what they're going to do at closing. I don't need this house anymore. Fuck. Right? Yeah. So I didn't send that. I went back to the broker and said, if I send this to my buyer, there is no deal. And he freaked out. It's just a pizza. It's a freaking blood. What are you talking about? I'm like, just stop yelling. Right. Stop, calm down, breathe. Okay, drink a Diet Coke. If I send this to my buyer, there is no deal. Let me know what you want to do. They called me back and said, fine, he can keep all, but he's not keeping the blanket. It's like, and so what goes through my mind is, all right, so now I got to tell the client that they're keeping a blanket. One, see what happens there. Two, I just don't tell him because he doesn't remember. He never saw the place anyway.
Right.
But that's not right, and that'll never sit well with me, even if it is just a stupid blanket. Three, fine, keep the blanket, and I'm going to go buy a blanket for $100 and put it there, and there's no thing ever. But that's just strange. And so I held firm. I was like, listen, I know you think it's a joke, but you agreed to sell this apartment fully furnished, right? What you should have done is you should have never told me, because now I know. But here's the deal. You can keep your blanket and my guy will keep his $40 million. No problem. All good. It's fine. And they got so angry, and they left the blanket. And that's all to say, right? You've got to be able to sniff out bullshit money energy when you smell it. Okay. And you've got to learn how to communicate with luxury buyers and how not to communicate with them. I think a lot of agents lose deals because they over communicate. They tell their client everything, things that the client doesn't need to know. Think about yourself like a doctor. Your doctor doesn't come in and say, holy, you are hard. Let's go through this. But then at the end, they're actually like, but when we all look at you, you're kind of fine. You're fine. Everything's going to be okay. No, like that. No doctor would ever do that. Okay. You're walking and tell you only what you need to hear. Right. And that's what you have to do when you're a real estate doctor.
One other thing comes to mind. So we get so busy and, having balls up, basically. How do you avoid burnout?
I strongly believe in routine. I find a lot of people I know who get burnout are not structured with their routines. They don't look at their years as a whole movement, and they just come in and out of their days. And then, of course, the days start to blend together. Of course, then they're exhausted. Of course, they're overtired. Of course, they hate what they do, right? Because they don't set goals. They don't have a routine, and they don't think about their future, right? I should be burnt out. Okay, I wake up at 4 a.m. Sunday through Friday. I go to bed by 10 if I'm lucky. But that is part of my routine, and I understand why I'm doing it because that is the job. And I see my baby twice a week during the week, and I see her on Saturdays, and that's her day. That is the routine. It is part of the job. And that's what works for me. That doesn't work for everybody. It's what works for me. And so I think anybody who's having trouble with that should take a step back and really look at, one, why they're doing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. If you really don't like what you do, don't do it. Like, don't do something you don't like so that you can complain about not liking it. Go do something else. And if there's things about your job that you don't like, you can always, have other people do those things. Leverage, right? Leverage. But stick to a routine, balance your day, and just try to find the joy as much as you can. Life is short.
So as you're growing your brokerage, how much does core values play into that? And I know integrity is very important to you too. I have a 14-foot wall in my office that core values is displayed on, and my number one thing is integrity.
Yeah.
So does that play into your new brokerage?
Yeah. Culture before profit, right? You're never going to be profitable or successful if no one wants to work with you, right? So what's the culture? Why are people excited to be there? What is the opportunity for them? And lead by example, right? I mean, that's when all else fails, right? I will always work the hardest to show everybody else. I never want someone else in the company to say they work harder than me. Maybe they work really, really hard doing different things, but I don't want them to say they work harder than me, right? It's my name on the door. So you got to lead by example. That was one of the issues I had at the last brokerage I was at. I could work 7 days a week, and the guy that was making a big percentage of every check was either on his boat or at his other house or like making music or like all the stuff that, you forget about. But then all of a sudden you're doing that deal file. You're like, what am I doing this for? Right. And it starts to build up employee and agent resentment. So I lead by example as best I possibly can.
Ryan, I love your blog, 111, that you did right when COVID kind of hit. You were running through New York City, and you say in there, your comfort is dangerous when it distracts you from your what you're capable of. And some of the things you say, I've read lots of your quotes, and I really like the quotes because they speak to like entrepreneurs. They speak to, people get comfortable. And I think I always say people have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's one of my things I say a lot. And you talk about micro wins and how important is that to an agent to be able to move forward and get through that comfort where they could lose track.
Yeah, there is no way that you can have just big wins all the time.
No.
Right. In order to hit big goals, to have those big wins, you need to have micro wins, and they have to be spread out throughout your day. Right. Because you have to feel good. We all have to be rewarded. Right. At the end of the day, we're all just little kids who just are in our grown up bodies and have been around. Right. And so you need to be rewarded. And so you can reward yourself with little tasks that you set for yourself. Right. Little goals. Maybe they're disciplinary goals, like you want to wake up at a certain time, you want to go work out, or you want to make that many calls that day. Whatever those goals are that you can hit if you just do them. Those are good micro wins that are going to carry you well on your way to hitting your master goals, right? Your major goals. But you can't just jump to a major goal unless you're working at it and chipping away at it every single day.
Sure.
So back to, so as you've achieved so much, what fills you up now?
Yeah. Reenergizes you.
Yeah, honestly, change. Like I was at a brokerage for 12 years. And I blew up my career over the summer and started all over again. Right. Started a new company and have been at it for 4 months and 11 days. And I've been doing that. I think you got to consistently grow, adapt, change, switch things up, figure out ways to do more at all times. And that's what kind of energizes me. And because I have a company now I have new people. Right? New people, they excite me and energize me. I'm like, what are you capable of? Who are you? What do you do? I wonder what we could do together. That's awesome. Let's bring on more new people. Let's grow and surround myself with people who are way better than me. It's the only way that we're ever going to grow. So that kind of, keeps me excited. I have a baby. I mean, the baby girl, she's crazy. She grows every day. She's insane. And that's when all else fails. Like, even if I have a bad day, I go home and she does not care. Right. Yeah. She does not care. She is a ballerina now. And she knows how to dance, and she's almost 2. And that's what she cares about. And that's more important than anything.
So which are proud father moments then kind of leads into?
She carries around 2 plastic cell phones. That makes me feel good. Makes me feel like she's on the right track. What else does she do? She's a very kind, sweet little baby. When there's other kids that are crying, she'll go up and like rub their head and rub their back. She'll give them her snacks and food and stuff. And that's like, I don't think that has anything to do with me, but I really like taking the credit for it. And so, yeah, she's just a good, sweet little baby.
So what could Lee and I do to help you and your, we'll send those New Yorkers back. What else can we do to help you?
You can, send the New Yorkers back to me. You can, tell everyone to go buy Big Money Energy, take the sales course. I think we have an amazing sales community of the best real estate agents around the world. There's 6,100 members already. Nice. 108 countries. If you go to ryanserhant.com/course, it's an amazing, there's a social ads course. There's a lot of stuff that we put out every single day to help make salespeople better, and work with me and my entire team. So you can do that there. Just keep crushing it. Keep selling. The better you guys all do down in Charlotte, hopefully one day the better we'll do up here in New York.
Any recommendations for 2021? So what's your like outlook? What are you thinking is going to happen this year? Listen to different analysts. Some are saying, well, hey, we expect 5% appreciation overall, is what they're saying as a national market. Low inventory for the first half of the year. Second half of the year, we'd probably get a little bit more inventory, I guess, as vaccines get out and people get vaccinated and so forth. But just curious of what your thoughts are.
I think it's going to remain at a fever pace for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't, the home buying craze that we're in the middle of right now is fueled by a pandemic, not fueled by anything else. This is money that people have been sitting on for 12 years, right? Mm-hmm. Like, people are still recovering from 2008,
right?
And never went and bought anything or just stayed under their means. Now they've been trapped in the home with their kids and their wives, and they're saying, yeah, we know what, we should actually upgrade. We can afford it. We can afford it. And so people are actually now all at the same time going out and buying new homes, and they'll continue to do it. Just remember, history repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
In 1929, everything got reset. And so the same thing is going to happen again here. What goes up must come down. So just be prepared. Right? Yeah. Be prepared.
Yeah, don't overextend yourself as a realtor. I mean, we saw a lot of that in 2008 and 9.
Don't cash checks you haven't gotten yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Don't go spend your tax money. Like, save money.
Yeah. Be a business person. I mean, that's the biggest thing I've seen with realtors is learning how to be a better business person through my career. I started out just as a realtor and never ran a company, never ran anything like that before. And you're just trying to learn how to be a better business person and, taking care of your family and your future and planning ahead.
Yeah.
Agreed. One other thing was negotiation. So I know you're a master negotiator. Any tips or like anything that really stands out has anything changed with COVID for you, or is there just one thing that generally works better for you with negotiations?
I would say I go into negotiations firmly believing that I know the end outcome exactly the way it's going to be, as if it's a movie, right? I'm the director. I know where we're going. I don't tell anyone we're going because I don't want to ruin the surprise, but I will write it down. Like in my phone, I'll write it down on my moleskin. You're the director of the movie. Anything can happen in the middle. But 80% of the time, you're going to get to exactly roughly where you thought you were going to. So your job is to direct the actors, direct the players to get to where you want to go, right? Most agents just sort of wing negotiations. Okay, this is the counter.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
If you can script them to.
You want to make an offer? Okay, what do you want to make? Like, no, you're the expert. It's the whole reason people are using you and not Open Door or Redfin or Zillow, right? Or any of these firms. They're using you because you're the expert. So don't drop that expert hat the minute it comes down to actually buying, right? Or actually selling. So, it can be, I think if you can choreograph the negotiations that way and then just lead people there, with the way you negotiate. If you know that your buyer is only going to come up to X, you're going to have to play tough. So if the seller comes back and gives you a best and final, your buyer probably isn't going to get there. Don't just take it and go back to your buyer and say, all right, oh, they're here. Because you just predicted the end of the movie, and no deal for you.
Yeah, it's over.
Right? So you go back to the sell side and you say, you guys probably don't have this because I don't know what kind of negotiating you do if you have no inventory. It's probably just bids, right? But in my world, where you negotiate for months to try to get one deal done, we'll always tell the sell side, no, come back to me higher. Come back to me higher. We need to play this out. The buyer needs to feel like they fought for it. And that's what they'll do, right? And they always feel better in the end. In a multiple bid situation, it's telling your buyer, listen, what's the number you're willing to pay? Or if you get it, you won't have buyer's remorse. And if you don't get it, then holy shit, someone else is insane. Right? Like, what is that number to you? Right. And that's how I've always been able to get people to get over like 10 grand, like why lose a house, a dream house, the one you want for $10,000? Like, why would you? It's a house. What's wrong with you? Like, who cares? Just go get the house. That's the market. Just buy it. Let's go. And people listen. Some people don't, and those people are stubborn, and you have to make the decision of, do you want to work with stubborn people or not? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But most people will listen because you're the expert.
That's right.
Yeah, especially the crazy market that we're in. So
yeah.
If we had some of your inventory, that would be helpful for us because inventory being down 70% in our market.
Yeah. So. I know. Well, listen, sorry I was late. Sorry I had to take that call. I'm in real life a broker in New York City, in between deals all day long. And so I try to squeeze these in as best I possibly can. But I really appreciate you all getting the book and supporting me. I think it's awesome. And I will see you soon. Yeah.
Awesome.
Congrats on your big sale. So,
thank you.
This afternoon.
Thank you very much.
So, all right, you take care. Thanks, Ryan.
All right, see ya.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
So we'll stay on a couple minutes and see if anyone had some questions. I was looking through the chat here. So cool. Lots of chat.
I didn't see anything else that wasn't answered, but I just think, recouping that, hearing him say that he thinks this is going to be staying in this market for a few more years. I was looking at different videos and stats, and we're seeing that 3 to 5% appreciation for the next 5 years. There's got to be a point that it does fall. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, when is that? Is it 5 years out? Is it 3 years out? When is it? And then
the buying power is so strong right now with the interest rates being so low. I think people are taking advantage of the cash they have in hand, marrying, and they're able to buy more. They just have so much more buying power right now. It's interesting, the different markets, because if his market's got a ton of inventory and ours definitely does, Maryland nor Charlotte nor Florida have inventory. Right. So, I mean, it's just different. And I love when he talked about negotiating with the other side. We have to lay the script out for the other agent. A lot of times you could be dealing with an agent who's only done a handful of transactions, if it might even be their first. And sometimes they want to come in because they're like, oh, they're experienced. Lee Tessier, I got to go up against Lee Tessier. He's been in the business forever, And so they kind of come in a little bit like ruffled up, when really they want to hear, they need some guidance. So sometimes we're able to come in and kind of say, I understand where your client's coming from, and give them a script so they can go back to their client with that same script, and they will. They do it over and over. You tell them, this is where we are. Spell it out for them and say, they don't know it's a script, but you're giving them a script and bullet point it.
There's the other thing is, there's so many cases that all we get is a text message on our phone or an email offer. We got 10 offers on, we tell them highest and best, give us your highest and best, no escalation clause. And then all of a sudden, all we get is, text or email. We never hear from the agent without them picking up the phone. And if they pick up the phone, it goes so much farther along. Have the lender call the listing agent. See if the lender can close faster. I was listening to Brent Go. He was saying, find a lender that can close in 10 to 15 days. If you go in and give them a rent back, because right now they're needing 90-day rent back or more, because they can't find anything that they're looking for. So what can you do as a benefit to them of giving them, the best outcome? And people need it because they're having problems finding houses. Right.
And like, to your point, Lee, when you're talking to somebody about selling, I mean, they're like, I don't want to sell until I know I have something to buy. But if you can say, look, if we were able to negotiate terms where you were able to get, what you needed on this house at the price you need to make that next move, we can put you in a position where you'll be ready to move. So those rent backs are really key to that. So they don't have to make that double move from nobody wants to move twice if they can avoid it.
But the other thing for the book, I think that you guys see offers. Let me see if we can post.
Oh, yeah, you gotta put that up there.
So there's an offer for, we bought a bunch of Ryan's books. So if you want to just claim it in there, it should say offer across the bottom. I see somebody had put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's in there. So claim your free copy, and we'll mail them to you. So that's awesome.
So I think that was everything. If you guys have questions, my email is lee@leetessier.com. Shelley, you want to give them yours?
And Shelley, SHELLEY at LePage Johnson, LEPAGE Johnson.com, or my number 704-609-8077. We're going back just a little bit. I mean, he was talking about, what really excited him was a big change, and you made a massive change recently. And I know that you and I have just been on fire, like your team's on fire. Your business is on fire, and we've gotten to be, it's funny how the synergies of us all working together, I feel like we're like even going faster now than before, even in our real estate business.
Yeah. We've definitely hired a lot more people and stuff like that too. So with our change over to EXP, it made it, I could expand into Florida, be licensed here, be all under one brokerage. And plus it's, I've gotten a lot of referrals from other EXP agents saying, hey, I have somebody in here, they're looking to join a team. Great. So it's helped me. We added a couple people that way. But again, it's just the more we can help each other. I mean, this is, to both of our markets, just trying to help. Like what can we do differently? It's not like, hey, we're all competitors, but we all have to work together at the same time. So how do you do that? I mean, same thing with negotiation. You got to negotiate for your client, but also you have to work with that agent again. You know, you're not just doing one thing. Don't screw the agent over or make them look bad. So get through the deal. You know, do what's best for your client, but also be nice to the other agent. It never hurts to be, you know, kind. And being a kind person is not, you know, not a negative.
No.
Not a good person, it's being a kind person. So that, and I think that you know, when you're dealing with some of these high net worth people, some of them have big ego, and other ones are as humble as can be. Just very humble people, but they want what they want at the same time when they're negotiating through this.
Right.
So,
and they have expectations. I mean, they're just a little bit clearer on what they want. You know, they've been there, done that. They don't want to have to go through. They already have enough going on. They probably own massive businesses. They have a lot of employees. They have a lot of other things, family, a lot of pressures. And what our job is to make it. This is not to be pressure for them. And when we're able to do that at a high level, then they say, you know what? Lee did an awesome job for me. His team is amazing. That's who you want to go to. They're going to tell everybody at the golf course when Lee's out there with his grandson the next time and say, man, our transaction went great. You need to work with Lee Tessier. I mean, that's where business comes from, is just doing great business and being, doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And you know, Ryan, basically, where there's no rocket science to this. I mean, luxury is just another house, just a little bit bigger with some fancier stuff inside, with people that have more going on.
like when Ryan was saying, it's like you're just like somebody that makes, you know, $10 million is not talking to somebody that makes $10,000 a year, not with the same problems. They can't always relate. So when you're dealing with these higher end people, just know, like he said, be the solution for them, help them find what they need. Give them good referrals, you know, because a lot of time they do, you know, like, hey, we were talking about concierge and, you know, person for a boat and this and that. But if you start connecting people, that's how my business grew over the years, was just connecting people. It's like, all right, oh yeah, I have somebody for that. Well, hey, I have somebody for that. I'll give them to you. And make sure you connect by giving a call to the person you're referring. So if it's a contractor or somebody that does hair or whatever it may be, hey, I'm going to send so-and-so to you. Just know that they're coming. Because that way, again, it's building value for that person too, and they appreciate you sending them business. You're helping them grow. So as you help, you know, that was the thing with the EXP too, because the more collectively you do together, the better it is for everybody. So I mean, that's why I make the change. And this is not a pitch for everybody, but it just wanted to give you an idea of, you know, because some people were saying, well, why did you move? You're independent. Everything was good. It wasn't like we were suffering for it anyway. So.
No, you guys are done killing it. I learn from you every time I talk to you, Lee.
That same thing here. So it's like, I learned from you. You had, like, we all have different strengths and weaknesses. So how do we help build our businesses moving forward? And that's what this is all about. It's like, all right, how do we all do more? And especially during crazy times. And the more agents that get into the market are not always the ones that are going to be here long term. So let's help the ones that really want to treat this like a profession. And, you know, how do we do more collectively? That's all.
Yep.
So. All right.
Appreciate everybody jumping on today. It was awesome. It was fun. I love that we kind of caught Ryan off guard with his deal that was going his poor client.
$140, that's a nice commission on that. So
yeah, that's incredible. Wow. Yeah, it was interesting. He just wanted us to pull some improv and do our best.
Exactly. Let's see how you guys are doing this. All right. Well, thanks everybody for attending.
Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome day. Go kill it. What does he say? Just start? Is that what he says? Just start. Right?
Yep.
All right. See you.
See ya.